the value that is returned here will be uh, sent here. Okay, so similarly, when square p, okay, this value will be passed to here, because the most appropriate value 25, this double value will be accepted here, not here. Okay, so that way all these values will be returned. Okay, and then you'll get this output. Okay, now next is finding the best match. Okay, now this is I'll just explain in brief on that topic. Okay, so a function call first matches the prototype having the same number and type of arguments, and then calls the appropriate function for execution. So this is what I've explained in these two programs. Okay, so a best match must be unique. The function's selection involves the following steps. Okay, the first one, the compiler first tries to find an exact match in which the type of actual arguments are the same and uses that function. So we have seen that in these two programs. Okay, now the next one is, if suppose the first match fails, the second match. If an exact match is not found, the compiler uses the integer promotion to the actual arguments, such as character to int, float to double, to find a match. Okay, in case it does not find the perfect match, then it tries to find, okay, similar range of data types. Okay, so character to int, float to double. Float and double are both decimal point values, right? So it's just so suppose an example here. Now the value that is passed by this function show is double value, and it is passed to this call function definition here, and is accepted. Now just imagine that this is a double value, and we change this data type from double to float. Okay, now what will happen is that once the compiler, okay, once this this line statement is encountered, the compiler will try to find the double data type variable. Okay, but since it does not find it, and it finds only float, okay, float, so that value will be passed here. Okay, so that is the option number 2 if exact match is not found. Okay, now the next option is when either of them fails, the compiler tries to use the built-in conversion, okay, to the actual arguments, and then uses the function whose match is unique. If the conversion is possible to have multiple matches, then the compiler will generate an error message. Okay, so that is you see here. Now you can see here long double return type. Okay, then square same function name. Okay, so a function called such as square 10. Now this argument value. Okay, so in such cases what will happen is, okay, here it will generate an error. Why? Is because this 10 will cause an error, because integer arguments can be converted to either long or double, because this value, if it is to be passed to either of this, it can be converted to either long or double also. In such case, okay, if there are two similar function definitions, okay, then that will create an error. In case only one is there, then the third options, this will be possible. But in case these two function definitions are there, then this square with the argument 10 cannot be passed, and it will produce an error. Okay, now the next one, if all of the step fails, then the compiler would try the user defined conversion, okay, with integral promotions and built-in conversions to find a unique match. User defined uh, conversions are often used in handling class objects. Okay, so here another example. Now here also again with the header files, okay, user comments, okay, and this is your prototype declaration. So you can see that the return type is integer double long. Okay, the function name is volume, all same. Okay, and then the parameter is integer double int long in. As you can see here, the parameter name is not mentioned, right? As I said, the parameter name does not matter. What matters is the parameter data type. Okay, now here one parameter, one parameter type, 2 and 3. You can pass as many parameters as you want, right? Okay, then also the order. Now, so this is to prevent uh, order mismatch, so it should also be in the same way, double int, not int double. Okay, like, so in the main function you can see that the calling functions volume 8 passes the value volume 8. Okay, and then here 2.56, and here 100L 50 and 5. So as you can see that this is an integer value, this is double value, this is integer, this is long, this is integer, and this is integer. Now in the function definition section, okay, when the compiler passes this value, when the calling function calls the call function, okay, this value 8 will be passed here. Okay, why? Because it tries to find the exact match, right? So the return type is integer because return keyword is there. Okay, after execution this value will be returned back. Okay, so in case if there is no return keyword, okay, a simple cout statement, then in that case this will be void. Keep that in mind. Okay, so here integer s, so this 8 will be passed to this variable s. Okay, why? Because this is integer, right? Now why is it that this value 8 will not be passed to here? Because here also there is integer, right? And here also there is integer in this case, right? No, it's not possible. Why? Because you can see the values, the other values passed double, right? So what about the double value? And as you can see that why again is not possible is because there is no default argument passed in the function prototype. We have already discussed about default arguments, right? Default arguments means in case the calling function does not pass any arguments to the call function. In such case, uh, the default value which is passed by the function prototype will be accepted and passed to the call function, right? Okay, so in the second case, okay, 25.5 and 6, now that value will be passed here but not here. Why? Because this is long L, okay, and this value cannot be passed here because only one parameter is defined, right? Only one parameter is declared. As you can see there, the parameter declaration here is int s. Now always you will see that in function definition, okay, the within the parenthesis the variable name will be preceded by the data type. Why is this? Because this is on this spot itself, this variable is declared, and since this variable is the and since this variable accepts the value by the that is sent by the calling function, so you know that without declaring a variable it cannot store a value, right? So that's why variable declaration is needed. Otherwise, if you just write int volume s in the function definition, then that will generate an error. Okay, so the end result of that is you will get these values. Okay, so next you have the what are the benefits of object orientation, right? So you can just go through this, okay, and just try to memorize this. Okay, now so you just try to understand this and memorize this, very easy. Okay, now uh, so this finishes your object oriented programming. Okay, if you have any doubts you can still ask. Okay, from tomorrow onwards we'll start with a new chapter, that is classes and objects. So this is more important. Okay, lots of programs are here, so we'll try to touch as much of the program as possible. Okay, so now from your part you have to study these points to remember. This is mostly useful in MCQ. Okay, solve exercises you need to study. Okay, all the solve exercises, even the solve problems. Okay, then review questions, and then the higher order thinking. Okay, higher order thinking. So you need to study all that, and whatever is not in here, okay, from the textbook, you study the rest. Okay, so from, like I said, from tomorrow I will start with these classes and objects.